Hello, I'm Luke. Everything I really want to say is on my laptop behind the camera. So I'll be looking over there for just to remind me of different things I want to say. So I guess I'll just get started. So opportunities experiences I've had in inclusive classrooms. Well, growing up, I didn't get to see it from much of an educator point of view, is more of a student point of view. There was, my middle school was the only middle school in the district that had a special education program. So they would have all their students in that classroom for certain periods of the day, and then they would come to general education classrooms, and then they'd be in our classroom with us sometimes with a special aid, or sometimes not, just depending on where spectrum. And yeah, got to see it. It just felt normal. I don't know. That's the best way I can put it, I guess. But I was also in a program for we called it homeroom, but it was like a study time before school started for 30-40 minutes. And my 7th grade year, I was in the band homeroom, where we would host the special education students during homeroom, and we would play music with them, show them different things, and teach them different things involving music, just as a way for them to just bond, as well as getting that musical abilities. And because they weren't really able to join band or orchestra or choir, so we had that set up as a way, I guess, to slowly gradually get to the point where they could be in that setting, or they have their own music extracurriculars. And then I did have a pretty an experience as an educator recently. I was in Ireland for study abroad. So when I was in that classroom, a lot of these students, they were almost all of them didn't speak English 7 months prior, and over the past 7 months they've been learning English. Majority of the students in the class that I was in, the class I was in, it was mostly refugees and asylum seekers from all over the world, mostly in the Middle East and Ukraine, and a little bit into Africa. I got to see, they were always in the same classroom the whole day, but then they would be taken aside for special learning for English, and then also for anybody. There was a couple that were in special education, that were on that had ASD, so they also had a separate time where they'd go and with a special education teacher. I didn't get to see that point of view when they left, but within the classroom, I got to see differentiation measures. There was this book that they were reading, or it was more of a magazine, I guess, but they were reading it to answer questions. And as I was like checking it, because I was helping other students at the same time, multiple of the students had different levels of reading changed for their particular, where they are in their learning experience as English language learners. And yeah, so I thought that was cool seeing that. I'm like, okay, I saw this in our class. I know that that's a thing. Trying to think of other. What else did I write? Oh yeah, they had like visual schedules. They like there's really they really harnessed the point of stability, like because these students don't have super stable like life, having the stability within the classroom allowed for them to focus better and learn. Not having a set schedule, and like having everything be chaotic doesn't allow the students to be able to learn. So our students or the teachers like set in stone that this is the schedule, this is what we're doing. Like obviously there's times where it gets shifted, but like the students relatively know what they're doing each day. They come in and ready to learn. Yeah, and then I think I'm not sure if I said visual schedules, but they had like schedules on the board, like around the classroom. They definitely grouped students into different levels of not education, different levels of I guess just where they're at in their learning, like somewhere more experience, or not more experienced, more advanced, and then less advanced. So they differentiated them to have their own assignment, but it was the same assignment, just slightly different for each. Like it was tailored towards their needs. And then I also like I got to experience most of them had like it had been 7 months, so like a lot of them could speak English pretty well, but there were still a few that like not super well with reading. They could speak it, they couldn't really understand it super well, but they're focusing on learning how to read the words, speak them out loud, even if they don't understand what the words mean. So they had me and another one of our student aides go and read that with them, and have them read the book to us, and then we correct them on the words. And if they ask what it means, we tell them what it means. And they were really passionate about it. It was really cool to see that. And so like how I'm feeling on becoming an inclusive educator, that's one of the questions that you put in there. I will say when I first was like starting out as, what am I, in this major, going into social studies education, I never really thought about the creating an inclusive classroom. Like that never really like crossed my mind at first, until like going into the major, until I was like here learning and being told like I was like, oh, obviously makes sense. But there's definitely a lot to know to create this, to have an inclusive classroom where everyone feels like safe, I guess, like secure. But there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a lot for me to know. And I definitely will say it was, at first I was like, it was a kind of not overbearing, but like it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming at first. But as I learned more and more, it's more of I'm seeing it as like, yeah, that is what I am going to be an inclusive educator. So like it's like now I'm feeling like fine with it. I mean, there's going to be struggles. No matter what, there's going to be struggles in education. I'm going to have those tough days, but we get by, we learn, and we do the next day. And we're here to educate our students. We're here to build a community and create these safe environments where everybody feels included. And like, whether that means I need to create accommodations or modifications for these students, and also work with other, like with parents, or why can't I think of the IEP teams to help create a plan for these students to better their academic and behavioral, and just, I guess, their education in total. We're here to form the youth for a better tomorrow. So, and being an inclusive educator is like the first step of that. Yeah, this course is definitely has been opening my eyes a lot to this one and SPE504. I'm taking that at the same time. They're both, it's definitely opened my eyes to how important it is to have an inclusive environment for students. Like, I definitely thought it was important, but I never went into detail and like knowing like every area of diversity, which that was more focused on in SPE504. But that's helping me, taking that class at the same time is helping me like really see what all these IRIS modules and collaboration and IEPs, UDLs, like all these principles seem more important to me now that I know what it's for, if that makes sense. I don't know if I worded that the right way. Yeah, and I think I covered basically everything I wanted to say. I did want to say a quote from my she was the principal at the school I was at in Ireland. It's, diversity is a given, inclusion is a choice. So we make that choice, we give these students this inclusion, we better them for tomorrow.